Welcome to the Post Ride Podcast. Lee Kahn, Ryan Lois, and myself discuss our amazing motorcycle trip through Spain in late October and early November 2022. This is episode 9. Now, Sunday, November 6th, and it was time to go to MotoGP in Cheste, and we took off all of our bags. We really pared down so we could maneuver the bikes. I just remember starting to ride through the streets of Valencia to then get out to the track. Valencia on a Sunday morning. It's just so gorgeous. As we got closer to the track, the thing that struck me was the police and the organization was top notch. It was easy. We just flowed right in and parked the bikes in a sea of bikes.
That was pretty unforgettable. I love that many bikes and that much cramming in, and we're all like-minded people. We're all fun, adventuring people, and we like to ride bikes, and that's why we're all there.
All right, we're at the track at Valencia, and it is insane. Oh my gosh. We're here to see the final race of MotoGP. It should be amazing.
Sport version of your
It's just a sea of motorcycles here. Things Lee spied was a guy with this ancient Vespa.
From a race perspective, there was a lot riding, and they were calling it the decider.
It was a final championship battle between the Ducati rider and the Yamaha.
Segundo, tercero, vámonos, salida.
Here we go. We're sitting at turn 1. Here they come.
Detrás de él, bueno, que viene por Suzuki de mí. Joder, la Suzuki. ¿Cómo ha salido la Suzuki? El ruido de las motos, porque lo acabamos de confirmar.
It's a very knowledgeable crowd. Every person there had a purpose. They'll be back next year. They were there last year. It was organized and fair and easy and energetic, and people knew what was going on. We saw a great race, too. Always good to see Mark Marquez ride, especially in his home country.
It was fun. It was hot. It was definitely in the upper to mid 80s. It was a really hot day. It was more subdued than I would have thought at the race. I guess in my mind, I would have just thought it would have just been chaos, everybody going crazy. Again, it was a Spanish crowd. They're very relaxed people. We had a couple sandwiches and we walked around. The race was fantastic. We had good seats. You could see tons of corners. The screens were right there. We couldn't understand anything they were saying, but the screens were right there.
Novena posición para Yamanaka, Pitito
Strangely, Suzuki won a MotoGP. The last race that they'll ever race in MotoGP, they're pulling out. That was a big deal for Suzuki, which was odd, but it was cool to see. It was fun to see the Spanish people's reaction. To the whole event.
Fernando Alonso was there at the race, which was pretty cool. They announced him.
Spanish actors and people cheered heavily when they were announced, but I can't remember the names. So it was an event for sure.
We had a good view of the track. We got to see the whole distance of the track, and where we sat, we could see a lot of the turns in the track. There were plenty of crashes. It had its drama points, that's for sure.
They have the whole thing on YouTube, strangely. I watched the whole race afterwards, and just such a different feeling watching a race on TV versus being there. What you see and what you can pick up on. There was quite a bit going on that it was a little little hard for us to decipher. It was just a cool experience all the way around.
Ducati came out on top.
Then after the race, we went with the masses. Probably the most technical riding we did were in the cities and getting out of MotoGP. You're dealing with bikes and there's bikes everywhere and people trying to go. They're all good riders. We started going through traffic coming back into Valencia. We're filtering. We're going in between cars and doing all the normal stuff like we ride in California, and they certainly do that in Spain. We got back into town and there was a bunch of police and they were stopping everybody. There was a critical decision that we were talking about on our communicators on our helmets. We were talking about, should we jump the curb and go around all this? We didn't know if there was a car wreck or what.
It was a roadblock. I was expecting to see a bad accident. We're probably 20 minutes from the track and miles from it, and we're all filtering down to one lane. John's in front of us, and me and Lee have GSs, and there was a little bit of a curb, and Lee's like, we're like, hey, let's go that way. As soon as I came around the corner, I saw guys pointing, looking at me, looking at John. We pulled in. They were checking everybody for their documents. And
Lee just kept going. He wasn't going to stop. We're trying to be law-abiding citizens in Spain. The cops immediately surround us. And I'm like, going, okay, what did I do wrong? They're like, no, we want to see your papers. Then, of course, since we had gone to MotoGP without our bags, I left my passport and international driver's license at the hotel. Always take a picture of your documents on your phone. The captain spoke English really well. He told me that it was going to be €500 fine. They were going to impound the bikes. Now, luckily, Lee had gone down the road and then walked back.
I went past, but I could hear you guys on the communicator the whole time. I pulled down a little side street, took off my helmet, took off my jacket, and I pretended I was just like a civilian just walking back up. All I could hear you saying was impound the bike. This is not good.
They had drug dogs. They were stripping people's cars.
By the time I walked up, you guys told me where your stuff was. I started running back to the bike. I'm trying to figure out, how do I find my way back here? I was trying to drop a pin on our spot, figure out how quickly I could get back to the hotel, but get back here. I didn't know that was going to take some time.
I remember I took a picture of that stuff on my phone. I was able to show him a picture of my passport and a picture of my international driver's license, but it didn't have the date on the front of it. He gave me a little grief about that. The captain, he came over to me. He's like, you guys are really nice. You're being very good about this. And you do have your documents. I can see a picture of it. And he says, go ahead, just get out of here. Ryan's looking at me. I'm like, let's go. And he's like, am I okay to go? I'm like, yeah, you're okay to go. Let's just go.
Luckily, by the time I had put my helmet on to go get the passports and get all the licenses, the guy I guess he just gave up and he just waved you guys through.
He went straight to the beach with a new lease on life.
Oh, now that you're a fucking vigilante and fugitive from justice,
I've always been a vigilante.
just do whatever. Just fucking
Fuck it.
She's got a big long beach right outside of downtown.
The beach was beautiful there. It was so calm and peaceful. There was hardly anybody out there. It was windy and hot, and it was just really relaxing. Walk up and down the beach for a little while. We found that food court.
It's almost like they'd taken food trucks and put them into a common area, but they were restaurants. The sun was setting. There were a bunch of guys carrying their surfboards. We went back to the hotel and we got in the pool. Do you remember the name of the place where we got the paella?
I do. It's called the Restaurante Flor de Valencia, Aeroseria.
I thought it was called Flume.
Oh, Flume de Loom. Sorry. There was two places. We went to one place that was super high rated and we couldn't get in. We took the Tesla Uber to Flume de Loom. That's exactly right.
My favorite part of the paella is that crispiness on the bottom of the pan.
Yeah.
And you can just scrape. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
You say you want it for 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. I think what they brought us was plenty for everybody. And then she came around and she was like, oh, we made an accident. That was just for 2 guys. We were like, well, that's perfect, man. That food was excellent. We're good to go.
We didn't let Ryan eat.
Got like a shrimp.
Beautiful food we had. And everybody was sitting outside. We did learn that traditionally paella is a Sunday night thing. Spanish people, they eat paella on Sunday night at home. We met some people later that were like, oh, where are you going? Where's the best paella? Everybody looked at us like, the best paella is at our house. It's on Sunday night. What are you talking about? I got the sense that they nailed it on what we ate.
The other funny thing was we still didn't see any, like, where are all the MotoGP people, right? When we're in Laguna Seca, we go into downtown Monterey and the Cannery area. There's bikes everywhere all night long and people partying and doing stuff. We didn't see any of that. We were told they were all in Cheste. I don't know why they weren't in Valencia hanging out and doing what we were doing. I think people just went home. They went and saw the race. They went home. The race was great. We saw the winner. We're not going to go out and tear up the town. town. We're going to go home, be with our families, and have dinner.
Sunday night and Monday was work. I would say most of the people were locals. I got the sense that almost everybody that was at the race was a local. I didn't see French or Brits or anybody like that. It seemed like it was a very locals kind of thing. I completely fell in love with Valencia. That town is awesome. The whole time I was there, I would love to wander around and explore this beautiful, clean, safe feeling city a lot more. That was just a special moment. I'm glad we were all there together, and I'm glad the race was happening. I want to go back to Valencia.